Hello, guys. Welcome to our panel discussion hosted by OpsWorks Co company featuring UppLabs company. My name is Kate. I'm marketing manager here, and I will be your host for the next hour or so. But before we start, please drop any message, any plus sign to the live chat just to let us know that you can hear us okay and see us okay. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much. So yes, as you already know, today we are here to discuss all the insights, keynotes, takeaways from the AWS re:Invent that took place a week ago. Yesterday we have a tech-focused session. If you're interested, please feel free to visit our YouTube channel and watch it. And today we are focusing on the business side of this event and we'll share all the insights. We decided to make this happening just because we have a lot of experience in DevOps and Cloud in general. OpsWorks Co is a DevOps and Cloud company with more than 7 years of experience, with more than 100 clients, and we definitely, as AWS Advanced Tier Services partner, know how to make cloud work for businesses. And UppLabs is a software development company with more than 10 years of experience and with more than 200 clients, and we know how to build the right solutions from the very beginning or how to make it better throughout its life cycle. So yeah, we really want to turn this discussion into conversation. So please feel free to drop any messages, any questions to the live chat and make it a real discussion. We will try to address it throughout the session or maybe closer to the end of the session. And that's it from the organizational part. And let me introduce three amazing experts we have with us today. Please welcome Dmytro Sirant. He is Chief Technical Officer at OpsWorks. He has more than 20 years of experience. He has the whole bunch of AWS certifications, 15 to be exact, and he knows a lot of tech stuff. Also, please welcome Artem Dolobanko. He is CEO of OpsWorks Group with a lot of experience with tech savviness and with understanding of both tech and business challenges of companies. And last but not least, please welcome Bohdan Khmelnytskyi. He is CTO at UppLabs with a lot of experience, with a lot of projects, and with background in both cloud and DevOps and software engineering. So he will definitely add some new perspective to our discussion today. Guys, please say hello to our audience. And
hey, everybody. Hi, guys.
And please add anything in case I forgot to add some very specific but needed details to your introduction.
You were very good, Kate. Yeah, we can go to technical topics and business topics that we're going to discuss today.
Perfect. So as we talked yesterday, it was actually 13th re:Invent this year. They started to conduct the events in 2012, I guess. Did you guys follow all this time this event, or maybe it was your first one?
So re:Invent is a major thing in DevOps world, and we've been following this from the start of our company since 2017. Unfortunately, we didn't have the opportunity to visit it before, so we mostly followed it online, read like reviews and summaries of previous re:Invents. But this year we were really lucky, and we went to Las Vegas, which is also an amazing city, and we were able to attend re:Invent in person, and that was an amazing experience. Around 60,000 people came to see what AWS does new in the industry. And we all know that AWS is the leader in cloud computing and cloud services. So everybody wanted to see, like in person, how this innovation is being built in the modern world. And that was a really, really cool experience, seeing all these people from tech industry, a lot of engineers, a lot of businessmen, a lot of companies who adopted AWS as their cloud provider, and a lot of folks from AWS. Literally, like the event was flooded with people from AWS. So we had many opportunities to talk to AWS people, and as AWS partner, that was very important for us to communicate with them directly. So for me, that was kind of new experience, and we'll definitely go next year too.
Sounds
Bohdan,
amazing.
how was your feeling about AWS reInvent? Because this was your first event like that too.
Yeah, I think it was really nice. I didn't expect so huge scale, although I knew it's really AWS, so it's supposed to be like that. And about Kate's question, I think the first time I heard about AWS reInvent was just a few years ago. However, I'm working with AWS probably for 10 plus years. So that was unusual. But anyway, happy that I had a chance to go there, and that's for sure very unusual experience. Dima, what about you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I never been in person on reInvent. I'm following it online, and for sure I do it last 5 or 6 years. And before I just read announcements, some summaries, and last year I found the most useful way is to learn from others, people who sharing their experience, because it's always interesting to see how people see the difference through the lens of other people, how they see the benefits AWS offers to clients. Because for me, I can notice one thing, but other people pay more attention to other things. So it's always interesting to hear others.
Yeah, for sure. And reInvent like huge. It has more than 2,000 sessions this year, I guess. Did you guys manage your favorite takeout highlight from this event? What was it?
Yeah, so before we go to that, I want to say that even though we are AWS partner, we're not trying to kind of sell AWS here. We really want to dive into how the cloud technology helps business in today's world. And since AWS is a leader in the cloud technology, I think they are a great example on seeing what innovation is. And that's why we're going to dive both into some technical things, but most related on how those things and those innovations help to grow your business. So that's the primary goal of our today's discussion. Now, back to the question, Kate. Well, I think the best session was a keynote from AWS CEO Matt Garman. I hope I pronounced his last name correctly. And it was really hard to get there because so many people tried to attend, and there was like these lines for you need to wait for an hour in order to be able to get to the audience. But that worth it, because that was the session that most announcements happened and most innovations were like presented by AWS CEO, and we're going to discuss that too. Unfortunately, I didn't attend like in person, but I was able to see like online. Yeah, so I was really impressed by the amount of innovations, the quality of innovations, and the speed that AWS moves to new technologies, mostly in AI. We're going to discuss that too. Like AI is the core part of what AWS builds right now, and the way they see the future. As Jeff Bezos said, the CEO of Amazon, he said that they live in the future, so we want to explore what this future will be like. Yeah, so basically CEO AWS CEO keynote session was the most impressive and most useful for me. Bohdan, Dima, what would you say about this?
I mean, about the event in general, or something important
Your biggest highlight of the event?
Okay, so let me start with something a little bit more generic. So yeah, as you said already, there were so many different topics covered at this event. I think AWS had like 5 or 6 different locations, and in every location they had multiple speakers. So like it was really hard to choose something to go and attend. But I keep getting back to one really unusual thought. It's not really technical. It's not really about business. For me, it's like some kind of philosophical thought or idea, and I really like that one. So that's something I want to draw additional attention to today. And that was a keynote from the CTO of AWS. I think that guy invented a few new words, and it sounds really funny in some way, but still, I think it gets additional attention from people, and maybe it was like the main idea, right? To use something again new and unusual. So the word speaks about itself and its complexity, and it's like controversial a bit because it's like about simple and complex things at the same time. But the actual idea behind this word is very smart, that we can see so many new services released by AWS and other companies. We get just more and more new technologies, new tools, new services. And it's obvious that things will get more and more complicated. But to manage these things efficiently, we need to try to make them as simple as possible. So yeah, I think that's really nice idea. Yeah, complexity. Be ready for technologies to become more and more complex, but yeah, at the same time, target for very simple and straightforward solutions.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I think, Dima, you had the post or maybe article that it was easier to learn tech 20 years ago than now. So it's kind of look like it does make sense.
Yeah, first of all, I want to start with keynote Artem mentioned from CEO of AWS. And it's interesting to observe how AWS able to provide their vision on several years ahead of the time. They are not talking about today's world. They are talking about something that business will widely use in 3-5 years. It's kind of okay for such a big corporation to not to lead all the technology, all the world, and create opportunities for other companies to build their products. They invest in a lot of efforts, a lot of money in infrastructure, in software, and it creates opportunities for business to scale faster, to innovate faster, and to deliver their products. It's about the business side of CEO keynote. And regarding the topic Bohdan mentioned, I do agree with this complexity term. It's a great idea to explain that some things that at first sight are simple, like we are using AWS S3. What can be simpler than storage bucket for your objects? But there are so much complexity behind this. There are so many teams inside the AWS who are working on this core service. This core service used among many other services in AWS, and it's really complex under the bonnet. So this complexity it's really great term to describe the thesis that AWS offers you two ways how to build your infrastructure. You can either use managed services, and all the complexity will be shifted to the AWS. You don't need to care about it. You don't need to understand how it works, or you can make any bespoke solution and use self-hosted services on top of AWS. And business usually need to decide which way to follow, and should they invest in internal team, train them, or just outsource all this to AWS or partners who are working with AWS and specialized in this specific domain.
Yeah, it's just triggered an interesting thought, what you just mentioned, Dima. I think like you need to know how to use clouds and AWS, as well, or mainly here in the right way, because what I hear from time to time, still we have clouds for so many years now. Like, so maybe 20 years ago it was the common configuration. You have a few physical servers, or you have a few physical data centers, and you need to spend time and money on the keeping all this stuff up to date, right? But now we have clouds, and some people still say that, okay, clouds is so expensive, I would better buy a physical server and do all the stuff myself. But I think we are missing here a great opportunity to focus to spend our time and money usually on something else that business needs right now than just managing again some physical devices. And AWS gives you a great opportunity for that. Of course, you just need to know how to use services that AWS gives you in the right way, because yes, they do a lot of work for you, and then you just need to pay not a very high price, but one of the features or again options that they give to you, it's usually unlimited scale. So if you do not use a cloud in the right way, right, you can lose some money, and just need to know about that and remember every time when you start a new project.
Yeah, you can't expect that if you perform a lift and shift migration from on-premise to the cloud, it will be cheap as the on-premise solution.
Yeah, it
You
won't.
should take some time to understand how to transform your application in a cloud native way. And in this way, it will be more effective, easier to scale, and at the same time cheaper.
Yeah, maybe a very
Right,
good
so
use case. Yes, sir, Artem.
go ahead. I was about to say that AWS basically are inventors of managed services, and they really try to make complex things simple for end users. And we will see that these new services that they presented are a really good example on how complicated things can be a useful tool in the hands of not even engineers, sometimes developers who never worked like a DevOps or cloud engineers. What do you think if we go and just briefly discuss these new innovations that AWS presented on both keynotes that we mentioned? Maybe you have to add something else from other panels and keynotes that happened on reInvent. But I want really to go deeper into how these innovations help businesses, first, to save money, second, to innovate faster, and third, to be like robust, reliable, and secure, to have robust, reliable, and secure infrastructure, which is the priority for AWS and for us as AWS partner and service provider. I would say that we can start like the major innovation, and I think the kind of competitive edge that AWS want to see themselves in, and compete with the major players in the market was announcement and a release of AWS AI models called Nova. Let's talk about that. What do you guys think about it, and how do you think AWS would go through this competition with companies like Anthropic, OpenAI, and how this new technology from AWS could help businesses who adopt AI and work with AI to innovate faster?
I don't think it's competition with Anthropic, because AWS introduced partnership with Anthropic and invested $8 billion to Anthropic for their future collaboration. And this Nova model, it's not a one model, it's just a set of different models specialized in specific topics. And the biggest advantage of this model is the price. And it was possible to do for AWS to provide the same level of performance, of quality for the general AI model, just because of the scale they're using and technical innovations they create. So they invested a lot of time to build specific Trainium processors, specific hardware to achieve a higher performance for the lower cost. And we can see it now comparing the price of the solutions. So you can build your own application solution based on the Nova models, just much cheaper than using competitors' models.
Right. So here they're basically trying to, again, compete with NVIDIA, even though they have a partnership with NVIDIA too. They want to make their models and their solution cheaper for end customers. I think this competition is very important and in a good hand for businesses who try to save costs. So basically, I think like it should be tested before widely used. I mean, Nova models, but I think those businesses who adopt AI can have a look at this and explore the capabilities that these models have. Yeah, they also released Nova Reels and Nova Canvas, like models for generating images and short videos. I think it's 6 seconds now, but they promise to increase it to 2 minutes the next couple of months. So those businesses who need models to generate images and videos can also use them for, I don't know, marketing purposes, generating some images for their needs, basically. Yeah, also worth taking a look and some attention.
And they also have some kind of marketplace with some foundational models, I guess. So it's gonna definitely help people to make everything faster, right?
Yeah,
for
they
sure.
introduced this marketplace, and it's another option. So if you still prefer to use some external model, just make it easier, because big companies, they do have hundreds of vendors they need to work, and each of the vendors should comply with the security policies of the company. You need to evaluate this vendor if they provide higher quality of security, and it's additional billing. So working for big company with AWS, with marketplace, it just make it simpler to try many different tools from the vendors who presented on the marketplace without signing additional agreements, do all this work. It's just sign up and start using it. It's a big advantage.
Right. Also, AWS and Matt introduced a new type of EC2 instances for those customers who use ML training and Gen AI. So basically, this called EC2 TRN2 and TRN2 Ultra servers. So basically, these customers who have ML workloads can also have a look at these instances. Maybe Dima, you can, or Bohdan, you can add a few words about like the technology behind it. But I think this this move to a new type of instances will speed up the ML training and also affect those businesses again who use ML and AI. What about the technology behind it? Like really quick.
So I just wanted to share one more interesting thought. Just to summarize here, AWS is doing a lot of releases of the new services focusing on the AI and big language models, right? So I think, like, to summarize that, we can say that AWS has made their mind for sure about the direction, how they move forward with the AI and LLM, right? And here, because they do, again, a lot of development in this domain. They do a lot of investments in this domain, maybe planning some acquisitions, right? But I have an interesting question here. I think, again, when Microsoft, OpenAI, and other companies were already heavily working and investing in this domain, like, I don't know, 5 years ago or something, AWS was still staying a little bit behind. And I remember reading some articles like from AWS, and they said something like, we are here to provide infrastructure for all these like training models and new AI services. It requires a lot of resources, right? And AWS said, okay, we are a cloud provider. We can give you a platform where you can do your job, right? But then something changed, and they started, like what you mentioned, basically releasing their own language models, right? So my question here, what has been changed, and maybe a little reference to a little chat with Dima outside of this conversation, that based on the AWS actions, we can say that AI here to stay for a very long time. And just to see a difference between these 2 points, like we could see OpenAI and similar companies already investing money, a lot of money in this domain, right? But AWS was a little bit more careful and holding back for a while. Then it took a few years, and okay, probably they realized, yes, that's something that will be here with us for a very long time. That's like, I know, some kind of new era here, right? Dima, what do you think?
I'm not sure if it's a correct quote for this case, but remember this time that during the gold rush, it's the ones who sell shovels that make the most money. So AWS, they selling shovels. They providing you tools, and you can use these tools to create anything you want. You need to train your model. Okay, here is the hardware or managed solutions. You can use SageMaker, you can use other tools to create your models. You need inference existing model. Okay, you can upload your model or use something from marketplace. You need something for analytics. Here's it. You can a lot of different tools that can help you with analytics. And it's really wise turn to not try to create product, but rather create a platform to build new products on top of it, or share some software as a software on top of the same platform.
Right. We went a little bit side from what I asked. Back to my question.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just
Back to your
didn't want
question
to forget about that.
I was about to finish about this new EC2 type, which might be very important for many customers who, again, use ML and AI workloads and those who consider it. And also the last technical thing I wanted to discuss was basically a Q developer innovation that AWS presented really fast. And then we will go back to like more business-like communication, because I think these pieces are really important for all the businesses who use AWS.
Okay, so what I'd like to mention about these Trainium chips, based on Graviton technology, and they already started work on Trainium 3, third generation of these chips, which will show even better performance per cost. These chips is widely used for some internal servers, and you can also have ultra Trainium clusters. And there are many other technical innovations has been made to make it possible. They created new Neuralink standard, which makes it possible to connect all these servers in one cluster, which can operate as a single compute unit to inference really big models, or when you need a lot of memory to train your new model. It's regarding the Trainium chips. And the last thing I'd like to mention that Apple is using these Trainium chips for, say, Apple Intelligence, and for such big corporation with enormous amount of money and physical resources, people, engineers, they still decide that it's worth the money to use existing technology Amazon provides and use it for their services.
Right. So basically, just to summarize, AWS expands their EC2 offerings for ML and AI. As we discussed, this is the future, and customers or those who are considering cloud should definitely check these new types of instances. They're bloodily expensive, that's true, but with the right approach and the right setup, you can still use them and enjoy the better performance and a better outcome. And as I said, the really last technical piece, we're still discussing that in terms of how that can bring value to businesses. About Q Developer, what do you guys think about these innovations with the Q Developer? I know many businesses now are using tools like GitHub Copilot or GitLab Duo. Now Amazon released upgraded version of Q Developer with a lot of like side features. Do you think this is kind of not a competition, but what kind of value that could bring to businesses, and mostly for development teams who plan or are using Q Developer? And before you guys start answering that question, also want to mention that AWS built a strategic partnership with GitLab, and they kind of integrated Q Developer into GitLab ecosystem, which is super cool. We're not happy about it because we have our own product for source code management called Road Code, which is a competitor to GitHub and GitLab. And we would rather prefer that AWS partnered with us on integrating their Q Developer to our product, but that's the other story. Yeah, so guys, you share your feedback about this tool, how it helps development teams and basically businesses to build software faster.
I can start probably. Really quick one from me. I think the key word here would be efficiency, right? So you can speed up the development process. And then I'm just trying to remember the interesting point and the important points from the keynote. And I think two of them are like writing tests and writing documentation. So the quote would be like, I haven't seen a single developer who likes writing documentation or tests. That's something you always trying to avoid, right? So writing the core functionality of your service is nice, can be enjoyable sometimes, but documentation and tests, not so much. So Q, a new service from AWS, can definitely help with that. But one little concern that I have with any kind of agents like that, like Copilot from GitHub or something, that when you just start working with such service, it's really great. But I think over time, let's say 6 months or a year maybe, you start to lose your skills because you don't do the hard work anymore, right? The AI service does it for you. So then eventually, I don't know, a year or two after, you don't have such skills, so great skills that you used to have. And then probably it's difficult for you already to control what AI is doing. By control, I mean just a simple validation of the actual output of the task that you gave to that tool. So again, the tests, right? Sometimes it's they are wrong because they done by AI, and you just simply need to check them. But again, if you're constantly relying on the AI service for a long period of time, I think eventually it would be really hard for you to check and validate results. So that's the little paradox here. AI is great in the very beginning, but I think with time, it's questionable. I mean, when we're talking about the single person, right, about the engineer.
Yeah, so basically you're viewing this from the engineer and CTO perspective. I'm talking more about the effect of this. Let's say there are the big corporations who have like thousands of developers who write code, and eventually they want to automate this process. So they want to cut like 70% of developers and replace it with tools like QDeveloper and the competitors we mentioned. Do you think, Dima, do you think that would happen in the next decade? I mean, like not replacing, but moving like big chunk of code development to AI solutions like QDeveloper, or we're still good with using it like more like a helpful tool to write code?
Okay, so none of the existing AI tools can replace a senior developer, it's for sure, but they will be developing over time, and I'm not sure what is happening next. Right now, it's interesting that another feature of AWS QDeveloper offers is transformation. And it was built initially for internal use for AWS. And AWS evaluated it as 4,500 years of development work has been saved using QDeveloper to transform Java 8 and Java 11 code to Java 17. So AWS used this tool to transform to upgrade this code base for themselves. And now they're starting to offer the same functionality not only for Java, but also for mainframes and for .NET. You can now use in preview AWS QDeveloper, which can help you to transform code from .NET to make it possible to run on Linux instances more efficiently and using like cloud native approach, and it saves a lot of time. Even if this code not ideal, it saves a lot of time of people who are working. And in the Western world, people is probably the most expensive part of the company expenses.
Right. So these are good news for enterprises and businesses who have legacy. especially .NET legacy, and they want to move or migrate to a newer version. AWS Q Developer now offers these tools that you can definitely check out if you want to do this upgrade. All right, just to summarize this like a kind of technical business piece of our conversations, there are a lot of new tools, new solutions, and new managed services. We didn't even discuss like things like databases, some other things that AWS presented, which are really cool and useful for businesses. Those who use AWS should definitely go and check these tools, because they might not only help you to boost like development infrastructure, but also save costs. This is the one of the most important part, I think, for business owners, and we're going to talk about that too. Kate, sorry, I think I kind of took your role
No,
here.
I'm super comfortable with it.
I can give it back to you. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you can keep it.
Right. Yeah. So I wanted to discuss actually, there was a big announcement, and I didn't think it was much highlighted in media. But what Matt said on the keynote, that they are planning to invest $1 billion in AWS credits for new businesses and startups. And we, as AWS partner, are capable of getting these credits to our customers. So I think this is the huge and a great moment for those who are not using AWS yet to consider that option. You can literally get covered like the first year of your AWS journey with the credits from us and AWS, which is super cool. And the other initiative that they mentioned was I think 100 million for nonprofit organizations. So if you're a nonprofit business, you should also check this out and consider like getting these incentives from AWS. I think they're like leading this charge of giving businesses boosts, and they want the businesses to strive and obviously use their services. Yeah, maybe you guys have to add anything here on this piece.
Yeah, I've also heard about this 100 millions to the non-profit organizations. If I right remember, it also includes public companies and government agencies. And most of the credits goes to train people how to use AWS properly, because many of the companies which still not working with AWS, the blocker for them is that they just don't know, they do not have in-house expertise how to work with cloud, how to make it secure, how to make it compliant to their internal policies, and how to make it effective. And only training can help here. So it's a good turn from AWS.
Yeah, Bohdan, do you have anything to add here?
No, actually, I don't. Yeah, but I totally agree with you guys.
Yeah, so basically, this is the great moment to use AWS credits. That's what I wanted to say. They're really, really committed to getting new businesses. And Matt also, he stressed about startups. They're really interested in getting startups. And now is the best time to either start or grow a startup. And with the help of AWS, you can do it better, cheaper, and faster. Yeah, Kate, I'm obviously taking too much of your time. Please,
No, it's
I think
perfect.
you want to moderate some of our conversation and kick off some other topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, we have a question in our live chat. Was there anything announced that can be used for a trading platform? Maybe we can have some answers to this question.
I don't remember anything specific, but what is can be used by trading platforms, because trading platforms working with transactional data. It's financial companies, and they to take care about the transactional safe databases, At the same time, they usually work globally, so they have clients around the globe. And this announcement of Amazon DSQL, a new database which is in preview, it's something they need to pay attention to. This database was introduced. It based on PostgreSQL. It offers SQL-based query language, and it supports limitless scale and low latency, and it's transactional safe database that can be run in multiple regions. So you can scale indefinitely, and it still will provide you like milliseconds response, what is really valuable for trading platforms.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And it looks like we got only 15 minutes. So guys watching us, please feel free to drop any questions. It's your almost last chance to ask anything our amazing experts. And guys, there are a lot of announcements, a lot of news. So what will be your, I don't know, main advice for the business owners, business people to take from all this insight and information that you got from the reInvent?
Yeah, so I think the main point and the main concern of every business owner who's watching or will be watching this video is what that would cost for me. The technology is super cool. I have the engineering team who does that. They probably like watched either our tech recap or record of reInvent. They know all the technical stuff, but I want to know how much money I would spend on this technology because, as I mentioned, some things are pretty expensive. So I want to kick off the topic about cost efficiency on AWS and how properly manage your costs, considering all these new features that probably many development teams gonna try to implement, and for the end business owner are that would be an extra cost instead of like cost reduction. What do you think? What do you have, guys, any recommendations based on our experience as well, helping our customers to optimize cost, how to utilize this new technology, new tools, new services, but at the same time, at least not to increase the costs, but better like to save costs? Matt was talking a lot about cost savings, but he actually didn't give any tips on how to do it. So maybe you have something for businesses, for business owners, on how to do it.
Yeah, I think I have one that
Yep,
I really wanted to mention. Again, we're talking about how we can spend less on the infrastructure services, right? How AWS can help with some additional benefits for the business. And the third part, that's the topic that we have nowadays, AI, right? And the main issue that I've been hearing for the last 2 years, probably, right? So I have the idea, or I already have a working business, and then I would like to integrate AI into my business, right? But usually people don't have enough data and don't have enough resources to train like models from scratch. Yes, there are so many models available on the internet that you can download and basically reuse, do some additional training. But still, even in this case, it's quite expensive and it's not a simple task that like one person can do, right? And the important announcement that happened at this AWS reInvent was that AWS now provides you a service which can train your model. So they use new terminology like training model and student model. So you don't need to have the like real raw data to train your model. So you just need to define some pretty basic inputs, and then the like teacher or training model will generate synthetic data for your student model. And eventually, yeah, you get pre train model that you can use in your business. And again, focus here on the efficiency and cost savings. If you imagine for a second you do the same training on yourself, costs would be crazy. And yeah, today with AWS, yeah, that's very simple and I would say pretty cheap.
Yeah,
Bohdan,
these mini models are a super cool thing, and I think again those businesses who use ML should check this out. I'm not sure if other cloud providers or competitors do have these things. Dima, maybe you can. But
Yeah,
again,
I
I'm
just
yeah, go ahead.
I just got myself on this great idea that one model trains another model,
Yeah,
and
that's
we are
crazy.
going down to the rabbit hole. So one day your student model will be graduated and start to teach other students.
Some off topic maybe, but still about AI, right? And how crazy time we live in, right? So now we have models to train other models. And I read this article maybe yesterday. To be honest, I don't know if it's really true, but if it's not, it might be soon. Like some big company, they're hiring a person, and that person responsibility will be to protect AI rights. Maybe it was a joke. Even if it was, yeah, it might be a joke today, but I think in a few years it might become true. And the reason for that was because people tend to ask so many annoying questions, AI, right? And you need someone who can protect AI, right?
Yeah, don't
for
blame
sure.
your AI. It can save your life later.
Yeah, Dima, but do you have some maybe thoughts on cost optimization?
Yeah, so you can't do any optimizations of cost if you're not tracking the costs before. So first of all, you need to establish some FinOps practices in your company and start to track the costs. You need to analyze, and it's not one-time job because every month, every week, we have new announcements from AWS. They're introducing new instance types, new tools, new paradigms, how you can work with your data. And if you constantly reviewing your infrastructure, you can find how to reduce cost more. And another option is when you develop a new software, usually you have some requirements. It should perform specific business tasks. It should solve specific problems. But usually there are no constraints how much it should cost. Because engineers can do work quick without thinking how much it will cost. And it take some time, some limited amount of time to write the software, which then will be run for years. And you will pay for years for this software to run on AWS or any other platform. So probably it makes sense to invest more time into the work of the engineers in the beginning, and it will save you money or the operations of when this software will run in production. So it's still on the business side. Give constraints, say we want that this solution costs this much. And it's either possible or not, but in most of the times it's doable.
Yeah, so what many businesses don't understand, and what we sometimes hear from customers is that we really need to build this simple, easy to use infrastructure and to deploy our product. But then, in a couple of months or years, when their product grows and the amount of users increases, they come back to us and say, well, it doesn't scale properly. But you should plan that, as Dima said beforehand. If you want to build a scalable infrastructure, you should invest more money, effort, and time into building this at the beginning, and then enjoy years of robust performance and security. Guys, we don't have much time. Okay,
Yeah, we only
do we have
5
any?
minutes left.
Do we have any questions so far? If not,
No,
then we will just.
we not. But guys, this is your last chance to ask any questions, our amazing experts. But no questions so far.
I like when there are no questions. It's easy. That means we answered everything right forward.
Yeah, but
Then we have 5 minutes, and I think we can share just our personal impression about what
yes,
AWS Run
yes,
was.
this is
Yeah,
amazing.
may I ask a question as a
Go ahead.
person who not been there? So I know that AWS reInvent it's kind of mecca for engineers. So what is from the business standpoint? Have you found it's useful? Have you met a lot of business people there, or there are just geeks, engineers who are having fun?
So I would say that 70% of people there are exactly what you described. Geek engineers are talking about geek topics, and even though I have some technical background, for me it's sometimes difficult to understand what they're talking about. So I prefer to move to the business communities. We're not that big, but the fun part of that was that they had like a lot of design events and communities of business people, business owners, managers who were talking more about how AWS and these innovations in AI impact their businesses. And that was super cool for me because what I learned is that if you do not adopt AI, which basically is very simple and everybody's talking about it, then you wouldn't probably survive in a couple of years. And that's why so many businesses are investing into AI and investing into their infrastructure to support these AI features. So yeah, for me, it was more talking to business people and business owners, and I really enjoyed it. But overall, I think reInvent is a more technical event rather than business oriented. Yeah, Bohdan, what about you?
Yeah, I was thinking about how I can call it, and I think my answer would be like it's a really big party for engineers from AWS, right? So, and you mentioned 70%,
That's
I
true.
think like 90 maybe, if not more. That's mainly engineers, technical people, and it's just really nice place and opportunity to get out of home, because now still we work remotely mainly. I think many people in the world, and then you get all together, you meet people from different countries, you do similar stuff but in different companies, maybe in different ways. So this energy in person is different for engineers and for managers, right? For everybody. So yeah, I hope it's okay that I call AWS reInvent a big party, but yeah, it's a party in some way.
So you guys gonna go back next year?
For
I think so.
sure.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I hope I will able to.
You have to have a long trip from Australia to the US, but that's not impossible.
Then we should definitely plan some other recap next year
Right.
for all this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like we don't have any questions in our chat, and we can wrap everything up. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you, amazing experts, for sharing all your insights. I hope our viewers pick some on the way that was useful for you. Please don't forget to share your feedback on the session. We just dropped the link to the feedback form because it's gonna definitely help us to make all the other events even better. So yeah, that's all from us. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Give us a good feedback if you want us to do more of these sessions.
Yeah,
If you don't like them,
sure.
just say. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us
Thank you.
today, and have a nice day.
Stay tuned. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.